days. It's closed. It's closed this side. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Maptown. Good morning. Eluna. Habari. Good morning. Ooh. Good morning. No, yapala dumelang tleng Batswana. Ke bona lutlile la ka lina ke koketsogaibe ke nna ke tle go tsamaisa lenane la tsatsi la gompieno. If we were to speak English, my name is Koketsogaibe and I'll be your MC for the day. It's nice to see young people deciding what they want. Ka gone go bua nnete hela le nna ke paletse go tsoga mosho wa tsatsi la gompieno whether re ne re dula mo dikobong. Lona le tsogile lo phaketse. And that's great to see. Ke kopa re le ikopelle matsogo assembly. Yeah! Re simolotse mo tsatsing la mabane tsatsi la gompieno is the second day and the day is brought to us by the transportation. Ga ke itse a re bona gore ke bomang ba leng teng. A Lonely Park e teng? Majamantsho e teng? Oh yes! Ke bomang gape ba ba leng teng? Sweding re teng? The unity, everything. Nice one, guys. Nice one. We're all excited. Live airport view. Muntiwa. Rabat Lavaba. Okay, no, reading. Kitapelo hore right hore rekleting sa tila gompieno akere. Akere. Ha ke nagane gore le show a le show ha nkitla ka tsoga ka Friday wa month end mo mosong go ke tla go nna fela a ke nagane I want to see a change happy music so tshameka o ntse ai ke weekend kgwedi fedile tshantse di ntsha ke yeah Matsatsing la gompieno di dintse tse di tlong go irega re tle go utlwa go tswa ba NDA re tle go tswa from TETA SIFA di farologane le wena ka boena o tle gona go botsa dipotso tse o batlang go di botsa go le gontsi a ke re tlo bo dula ka selo o sa itse gore o simolle kae ga gona go go dulang teng ko Majamantsho ko di uniting ko Lomanyaneng ha o itse gore tlhokego ke eng. And perhaps you just don't know how to get started. In these 3 days is start. How we're starting, we're going to know and we're going to find out. I don't know if there is a sound we can play. Or Tanzania is Okay, there's a video that we want to play for you guys so that you can see exactly what TETA is all about and what you can anticipate from yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Could you please have the video up? Thank you. Round of applause. The
aerospace subsector encompasses transportation of passengers or goods in the air, and the use of equipment such as aircraft, helicopters, and space vehicles such as rockets, spaceships, and drones. It involves the provision and management of airports, heliports, and airspace services. It also involves other support services such as the manufacture, maintenance, and repair of air transport-related equipment. The biggest employer companies are state-owned enterprises such as South African Airways, SAA, with its subsidiaries, SAA Technical, SA Airlink, Mango, South African Air Force, SAAF, South African Civil Aviation, SACAA, Air Traffic and Navigation Services, ATNS, Airports Company of South Africa, ACSA, South African Air Wing, and Denel. subsector, there are drones, and these are defined as an unmanned aircraft which is piloted from a remote pilot station. Also, it can be called unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV. The UAV is the heart of the UAS and possesses fixed wings or either a single or multi-rotary build for flight. Commercial and non-profit operations are a lot more heavily regulated than private operations. For commercial operation purposes, it needs to apply to the South African Civil Aviation Authority, SACAA, for a letter of approval, a certificate of registration, a remotely piloted aircraft systems, RPAS, pilot's license, RPL, and remote pilot operator certificate, ROC. The remote pilot is the person who manages the flight, commanding instructions to a drone during flight, and is the person who needs to apply for the RPAS license. The ROC applies to the company or organization that intends to operate the drone and not the pilot specifically. There are a number of training centers in Gauteng and one in the Western Cape. In order to apply for an RPL, the applicant must be over 18, hold current medical assessment similar to a normal pilot's license, and have the approved training. South Africa does recognize foreign training, but it must be approved and validated. There must be a practical and theoretical assessment, and one must also be proficient in English. The RPL is valid for 2 years. Upon expiry, the holder must submit for a revalidation check. An application to operate a drone for commercial or non-profit purposes must be submitted to the director of the SACAA to issue the letter of approval and certificate of registration along with an RPL, ROC, Air Services License, Operations Manual, Insurance, and identification as specified in CATS. Today, drones have become increasingly popular in aviation, especially when it involves delivery services or for recreational use. This breathtaking innovation has transformed the way we deliver goods, capture pictures, and defend the skies. From a business perspective, drones increase both efficiency and quality while hugely decreasing costs. In terms of the military, they provide an advantage against their opponent, whilst posing no risk on their own personnel. However, with great inventions come some threats. In the wrong hands, drones can infiltrate people's privacy, but also cause great hazard for air traffic in the busy skies we had pre-COVID-19. While drones have caused some negative impacts on aviation, however, the positives outweigh them significantly. So, what can we use the drone for? Military. Probably the oldest, most well-known and controversial use of drones is in the military. The British and the US militaries started using very basic forms of drones in the early 1940s to spy on the Axis powers. Today's drones are much more advanced than the UAVs of yesteryear, equipped with thermal imaging, laser rangefinders, and even tools to perform airstrikes. Delivery. Delivery drones are usually autonomous UAVs that are used to transport food, packages, or goods to your front doorstep. These flying vehicles are known as last-mile delivery drones because they are used to make deliveries from stores or warehouses close by. Sometimes, it's just not safe enough to send humans into a rescue situation due to the scope or severity of the disaster. That's where drones come in. In the case of a capsized boat or drowning individual, officials can throw an autonomous underwater vehicle, AUV, into the water to assist in the rescue. Agriculture. Drones have proven to be beneficial to the agriculture industry as well, presenting farmers with several ways to optimize their farms to maximize efficiency and reduce physical strain. Carrying out field surveys, seeding over fields, tracking livestock, and estimating crop yield are all made easier through the use of UAVs while saving agriculture professionals valuable time. Wildlife and historical conservation. Drones are a cheaper and more efficient alternative to wildlife conservation. Tracking wildlife populations is nearly impossible with humans on the ground. Having an eye in the sky allows wildlife conservationists to track roaming groups of animals. Conservation drones also make perfect tools in the fight against poaching efforts in Asia and Africa. Drones in construction. Drones can be used in the construction sector for various applications. RPASs can be an invaluable tool in the construction industry. UAVs can provide real-time data, furthermore keeping you up to date and keeping your project on track. They can also be used to obtain spectacular pictures for company publications and, in addition, press releases. Visual inspection aid. Using the highest quality industrial-grade UAV equipment operated by skilled and experienced pilots, we offer safe and efficient inspection solutions. Solutions tailored to our clients' needs, providing key inspection information in a fraction of the time and cost of other remote access services. The mobility of the drone offers inspections above, beside, or underneath any target and location, allowing unprecedented access monitoring and inspection. Structural, vegetation, landscaping. So what carriers are there in the drone industry? The drone industry is predominantly a sector where pilots are mostly self-employed in all the sectors previously mentioned. A pilot can get employment, but in South Africa, where the industry is still growing compared to other nations like the UK, Rwanda, and the US, we are still in the development stages of the industry, and thus the market being niche, most forms of employment come from business-related activities. The following jobs exist in the drone industry worldwide and in South Africa. 1. Drone photographer and filmmaker. Let's lump up all aerial photography and filmmaking jobs under one item. Just because describing all types of jobs under this category would be long enough to make a separate list. Being one of the most enticing fields for drone pilots, drone photography and filmmaking has the biggest market and also the largest number of pilots who offer the service. 2. Precision agriculture surveyor. Precision agriculture is a niche application of drone technology, which is precisely the reason why you should consider it. It's quite advanced just because it requires a third-party accessory, a multispectral sensor. 3. Drone 3D modeler. Creating 3D maps and models using drones is a job with wide applications. Any industry that requires heavy construction, such as mining, urban planning, and civil engineering, can benefit from a 3D terrain model. 4. Power line inspector. Power lines get damaged over time and require regular maintenance so they can remain in working condition. The challenge lies in having to inspect miles worth of power lines just to look for damaged sections, which can be very short. Having to do this manually takes a long time, not to mention the hazard that power line inspection teams get exposed to if they have to work at heights. Drones take this hazard away and can even do the job faster. 5. Rooftop inspector. A service that combines drone photography and 3D modeling. A drone rooftop inspection will prove to be useful to real estate agents, roof repair crews, solar panel installers, insurance adjusters, and homeowners. It's easy to imagine how the appearance and condition of the roof plays a huge role in the value of any house, making this a high-demand application of drone technology. 6. Search and rescue team member. Law enforcement agencies and emergency responders worldwide have taken to using drones to help augment their capabilities. For situations that require search and rescue, a drone is a perfect tool. It can cover a lot of ground quickly and provides a bird's eye view of the search area and can be deployed at a moment's notice. 7. Drone flight instructor. Speaking of providing training, how about being a full-time drone flight instructor? For those with a knack for teaching and talking to people, this may sound like a very good idea. Becoming a professional drone pilot has become a legitimately viable career option in 2020. With more and more industries and companies recognizing the value of drones, a good drone pilot now has a wide horizon of well-paying opportunities. drones in the fourth industrial revolution. Just as the mobile phone market saw Africa leading the world in various applications, many believe that the use of drones will eventually have the same positive socio-economic impact on the continent and be adopted globally. Drones are already starting to revolutionize how some countries tackle service delivery challenges to improve the lives of their citizens and build their economies through entrepreneurship. In South Africa, the use of drones for commercial and non-commercial use is at a very early stage, with the Civil Aviation Authority passing regulations this year on drones spraying crops. In conclusion, drones are driving the fourth industrial revolution, and we can only advance further in terms of development using drones.
And that's only the beginning for today. We're looking at transport and we're looking at entrepreneurship. I don't know about you, but one thing about Mafikeng that I've realized, and then ra toropong, ra kopana go tloko toropong, wa kopana le chomi or wa kopana le ngwanyana maybe ne. Ngwanyana teng o dula airport view. The distance is huge. So there is the taxi o tsa tse kae go tloa Ramatlabama go ya airport view. 3. How much is that? That's a lot of money basically. So I think transport is important and entrepreneurship, that's where you come in. About that specifically. As we go on with the program for today, our LED department, ya Mafikeng local municipality, and Miss Kokezo Tlatsane. Message.
Thanks. Morning. Alicia, I'm super excited to see all of you here. Ke thata go le bona bonna ke. Ke nna Koketso Tlatsana. Ke memo. Ke nna Koketso Tlatsana. Ke tswa from Mafikeng local municipality. Ke dila ka local economic development by bitsa LED. So go LED, Ritusa the youth, Ritusa the business people. Today let's work entrepreneurship again. So you are well suited where you are. So LED creates an environment where relevant the opportunities for business, relevant the opportunities for jobs that should be created by government. Whoever that you guys want to talk to regarding empowerment of yourselves. Ne? I mean, mabane, I was so emotional. For me, it tells me a story of how many of you are unemployed, how many of you don't have resources, or how many of you are not afforded opportunities. But I want us to change the status quo. Change the way things are. Officer Rona, it's an open door policy. You're all welcome to come ask any questions or whatever queries that you guys have. So I made a little speech that I want us to share with you guys, if you would allow me. So, Mafikeng as a city, it's very disheartening that unemployment challenges faces most of our youth. We need sustainable and innovative thinking to curb unemployment and visible differences as a municipality. We care a lot and profusely about youth development, and we are obliged as a municipality. You know, the underlying word, the operative word here, we are obliged. It's our obligation and our responsibility as masipala to create and enhance conducive environment where opportunities are created for you guys. Youth empowerment should be seen as a catalyst tool to tackle youth unemployment and any other challenges that you guys face on a daily. Social ills, you know. An idle mind creates a lot of challenges. Ning khutletse bonyaope boys ning makgarebe a rona mantle ba inella mo teng ga bontate ba batona ba irang because of khalebereke, guys. Why bon? And we need to change that. We really need to change that. So as a municipality, we're having youth programs that are in the planning phase. In every ward, every councillor, we launch youth forums. So this forum sits emphasize issues around poverty, education inequality, lack of access to mentorship programs, and other glitches that would hinder with your development. We also want to capacitate the youth with soft skills such as emotional intelligence, to help refrain from substance abuse and other social ailments that the youth may face. So one of the things that we want to do as masipala is to create career guidance exhibitions. I don't know if most of you were here yesterday. Some lady for Mintech, Barke O Success. She spoke broadly around skills development. And you'd find there's a discrepancy where some of you never had career guidance and ota career path just for the sake of thing. So we want to create the career exhibitions for you guys where that choice of being allowed the space to choose you guys you're the lucky bunch in a sense that you've got ample opportunities, but the bottlenecks around that you don't have proper access to those opportunities. And that's what we as the municipality want to change. So going forward, we want to listen to the ideas that you guys have and really implement it as a collective, both you guys and us as a municipality. We want you guys to also take ownership over the programs that you guys will be initiating. I get you are the youth. You know what you want. You know what your challenges are. So our role is also to create an integrated and resource-efficient environment to enable vast opportunities for Lona. We also believe that there's room for young people to get involved in finding innovative solutions to infrastructure challenges that will create direct. My apologies. Okay. Remote space in 4IR. Technology has improved greatly. And it makes it very possible for resources and services to be delivered effectively and efficiently. In closing, youth unemployment on the economy, and it demonstrates that there's an increase in the cost of living and there's an increase in levels of poverty in our community. That is why we want to ensure that we play a part in this entire value chain of youth empowerment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. As I said, my name is Kokezo Tlatsana from Mafikeng Local Municipality. Feel free to come through to our offices. It's not only myself that work there. I've got other colleagues that are committed elsewhere. So, get to reception, ask for Oskokezo, which is myself, Osmosidisi, Khonalabut AC, Khonalos Pulani, Khonalos patients. Well, we are here to serve you guys. We are here to hear your queries. I would like to provide you guys with my contact details. My email address is koketso. Lakwal. Okay. My email address is koketso.tlatsana@gmail.com. So I'm giving you that one because it's very accessible for me. Ne? I'm a bit skeptical for the cell number because la kong harasa ka phone letang check abo emailing. No, my darling. No, my darlings. What is the problem now? What? Yes. Okay. Kelefali said number tag, you are only allowed to call me during business hours. Only. Kalikopang. Take them now. 079 237 079 237 Arisimulensesha. Retsang. 079 237 5531. Was that difficult? Thank you so much, guys. Ke lebogile thata for your attendance. Give yourselves a round of applause. Naledi Bozo.
Ellen agalur phone oba phone. Are he lona le phone. Okay, guys, listen to the shop. We just started. Butata king. So, motsatsing la gompieno ke re setse re buile gore entrepreneurship, transport. Ibile, go nile botlhokwa re tlhalosa gore mo Mahikeng, kwena o itseng ditlhokego tsa ko nnang teng. Akere. Ha go no pe gape ka go tlhalosetsang gore ko nnang teng go iragala eng. So, one of the most important things is as the speakers speak, especially because she speaks from local economic development, we use those numbers, use that email, ask her questions, so that I get a government for the people, by the people. You are the people, and you're the people that are going to bring change into the community. Okay, we're going to go into our official welcoming address. The Mahikeng local municipality. We're going to go into our address. From, let me call him a man who has a lot behind his name. He's definitely a man. We could take a page from his book. Rebuaga now, the managing director of Mafikeng Logistics. And when we talk about logistics, we think of freight, we think of moving things from one place to another. Is going to be letting us know about his journey, getting us inspired. Inspired, connected, transformed. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen at the end of today. Okay, I said say Bakai, right? So if I were to speak about him, I managed to read a bit about him. So a couple of companies that are behind his name, Mesmat, and you don't think of the JSE. I mean, the JSE is a big deal. When you think of how and you want to make it big, you're looking at a company that can be named among the best companies in the country, that can be a part of the JSE listing. Because it's important. One of the speakers, Well, because Nabatla BMW, he went to BMW. You don't have to be within the soft life to live the soft life, but to stay inspired. O tshwanetse o e bone. Nna ke kgalla majita a berekang go di-car wash. With why? Ya fitla SLK 350. Ya fitla Ferrari. O tsena ka moraro, why mover? It might be 5 minutes. But what I feel like, I get a high. In a lady heated seats, wa pressa mole. Utla mufuto. You understand? In a li sound ele. Or get your volume. You understand? So I think we are going to leave inspired and wanting to bring change in our communities. Right?
Good morning. Dumelang kaofela. So thanks for the introduction. But I'm going to try and introduce myself the best way I can. I'm going to use this time to introduce myself because they're still preparing to get my presentation on the screen. So, and I like this part of my presentation because I want to get you to understand that I was once where you are. I think that's very, very important. So I'm from Limpopo. It used to be called Northern Province. I grew up there. I went to school there. And I finished school in 1993. I know most of you were here. And I went to study and became a chartered accountant. But that sounds quite nice. Until, thank you very much, until you realize that the way I studied was also hard. I did all my qualification correspondence with UNISA. So it means I had to sit alone in my own little space because I couldn't go to a full-time university, and I was disciplined enough to know that before I go to play soccer, I love soccer. Before I play soccer, thank you, is it ready? Okay. Before I play soccer, I must finish the assignment. Before I do any other thing, there are certain things that I must do. So I had to be disciplined that way. So I then did qualify and started working. I worked for a couple of, well, not a couple of years. I've been working for 20-something years. So until such a time that I thought the calling, you guys know what a calling is, right? The calling brought me to starting my own business, which is quite recent. We started the business, we started the business in 2020. But I just wanted to play you, I think we've got the wrong presentation that I wanted. Where's the gentleman? Can he start, please, with the video? Yeah. So while he's doing that, yeah, so I then started this business together with my wife. So we put our whole livelihood on this business. That focuses the mind. It means that if this business doesn't survive, we don't have livelihood. It has got a way of making sure that you are focused. And focus is what you need. Most of us, all of us, have got capability to do something. You choose what that something is, and then you focus on it. And when you do that, nothing is unachievable. I'm from a rural village. I visit the rural village these days. I only visit. I don't live there anymore because I chose to not live there anymore. And then I'm at an age now where I want to go back. But it's a choice. I can choose to go there. And education does that to a person. It gives you ability to choose. If you do not have the capacity and ability to choose, you need to work harder. Because you need to choose whether you're coming here or you're going somewhere. And when you choose here, it must be your choice because you worked for that choice. And that choice belongs to you. Yes, there is money, yes, there's other things, but the biggest commodity, the biggest currency is ability to choose. I live in Johannesburg, I chose to be here. Why? Because I'm passionate, very passionate about entrepreneurship. I'm passionate about development, not just development of myself, but development of others. I know there are some people who've worked before here. There's something that comes at the end of the month. That means we're very, very busy. I'm an accountant, so at the end of the month, we are not touchable. We don't want to speak to you. We just want to focus on finishing the month end. But if you guys checked your calendar, you realize that today is the 31st. It's month end. But we chose to travel all the way to come here and speak to you because it means a lot to us. I'm just waiting for a cue whether the slide is on or not. Okay, they will tell me. So if you do not have that passion, the passion that borders on being, what's the word I'm looking for? Obsessed with what you do. Yes, some of you will succeed, but if you don't have that obsession with what you do, it's very difficult to succeed. You need to get to a stage where you say, somebody's saying, hey, you heard there is this thing that's happening there. You say, you know what? If only it was happening next week, Tuesday, because until Monday, I'm very busy. Then I would come. Just reduce your availability on some of these things. Just cut on availability. Because entertainment is good, and we all need it. It is good for our mood, for our mental health, etc. But when it is the dominant thing in our life, it's no longer good, it's dangerous. There's someone who said, I don't know who it was, that too much of a good thing is dangerous. Have fun. I'm all for fun. I just can't dance. I was going to dance for you on the stage. But I know that everything has got its time. Some of you are surely religious. There's Bible verses to that effect that says everything has got its time. And when it's time to sing, you sing at the top of your voice. But when it's time to mourn, even if you mourn for others, support others in mourning, you be available. You be available for them. Okay, the thing is on. I'm going to pause now. you very much. To be honest, this thing still gives me goosebumps. Banaba Pif. Because you get excited when you've done something and you can see it working. So this is a company that we started, and we've put our all in it, and we put our emotions in it, and we can see it working. Thank you very much. So they are loading the next presentation. Yeah, is it loaded? Okay, they're loading the next presentation. While they're doing that, there are some things that were on that presentation that I want to talk about. It would have been best to talk about while they were flying, but there's a line that I like. In fact, not just me, the family like, Mason Logistics likes, that says, we be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see. So we decided to be the change we want to see in this country. Because this country needs a lot of change. And if it's not coming from you, who is it coming from? If it's not coming from you, who is it coming from? Who are we waiting for? Because there's 8 billion people, there's 56, 60, depending on which stats you look at, in this country. We are already here. So who are we waiting for? I'm told there's about 500 of us in here. We are here. Who is going to make the change? Look at the person next to you and say, I'm going to make the change you are waiting for. Because if that change is not coming from next to you, I don't know where it's coming from. So we decided at Mason Logistics that we're going to be that change, and we are still a young company. Government talks about small and medium-sized companies, and is it ready? And we're talking of young company because small things remain small. This is a small mic. If you come next year, it will still be a small mic. But young goat called kid, it becomes a big goat. Young elephant becomes a big elephant. So we are a young enterprise. We are going to be big one day. If we hire you. Yeah, we will definitely hire you. And that's very important. So we hire people. Now, because we started in 2020, we hire people. Right? And then what happens if you start in 2023? In 2025, you'll be hiring people. So we have people who need to be hired, and we have people who will hire people right here. So we need to start those things. And starting something is not the easiest thing. Because small business is not as sexy as Anglo-American. It's small business. You've heard of Mason Logistics for the first time today. In 20 years' time, you will just know about it. But if you start yours today and employ other people, let me tell you what, you will be a known brand and you will leave a legacy in this country. So let's go through the slides so we don't spend the whole day here. I think I've done most of my introduction, but this is important. Muhammad Ali was a boxer. If my mind can conceive it and my heart can believe it. Thank you very much. See, I like the audience that finish my sentences for me. I feel like we are tight like that already, right? So it's very, very important. You have to believe what you want to do, right? So let's talk about where we started. So we started with one truck. One. There were things that we needed to do to make sure that the business grows. So we had to have a plan, we had to have a strategy, we have to have clients, we had to understand what the clients need. And then today, we've got a fleet of trucks. And you saw, those are not small trucks. We've got a fleet of trucks that meet the client's needs. We started with a loss. And this is very important. Don't be discouraged. Find out, what is it am I doing wrong? Because that's the only way you're going to learn. I mean, I remember the time where you did not walk, you did not talk, you did not know how to go to the bathroom. But look at you today. If you had given up and said, everything doesn't work, my legs don't work, I can't go anywhere, you would never be an 18 to 35-year-old that you are today. You had to learn. So never stop learning. So we had to learn things that take us out of a loss situation into a profit situation. We had to look at, is the price that we're charging right? Are the costs that we have right? Is it, the way we're looking after the assets, is it right? And when you get those things right, whether it's a vegetable selling company or growing company in agriculture, or it doesn't matter who you are, if you don't understand those two things, the business is not going to grow. But when you don't understand them, you don't give up. You seek advice, you read books, you talk to people until you get it right. So we've moved from an EME, which is exempt micro enterprise in DTI terms, to a QSE. Exempt, an EME is any company that makes less than 10 million. A QSE is a company that makes between 10 and 50 million. So we moved from that beginning to QSE in less than 2 years. Thank you very much. And we intend to grow. We intend to, whenever you walk out around here, you should see that Mason name everywhere. These are some of the people that we are employing and we're working with. And here we were looking at the new fleet. It was an event when we were turning 2. This is the event where it was happening. So there are some things that maybe some of them I've touched on, but let's go through them, right? So in the kind of industry that we are in, I know you know in this country, there is a very high level of deaths on our roads. So safety in this industry has to be very important. For us, for people we hire and the people who drive and walk on the street, we have not killed anyone. And we're not intending to kill anyone. Safety is very, very important for us. So we, every day, and I'm not even exaggerating, every day we look at operational efficiency. We look at how can we save costs while at the same time delivering to the customer the right way. How do we wow the customer while at the same time we find cheaper, better ways of doing things? And we have to keep the momentum going. If you start doing something, whether you start meditating or you start praying or you're going to church or you're exercising, once you stop, it's very difficult to start again. So start and just keep going. So we keep the momentum. When we find something new that we have learned, how to look after an asset, we keep going back to making sure that we keep doing that thing until it becomes part of just what we do. You know the way when you wake up, you go and fetch your phone on the side of the bed without looking? That way. Am I the only one who does that? Oh, okay. So you know where the phone is. So you need to start doing things that way, where you just know that when I wake up, the first thing is I meditate, I pray, or I run, or whatever it is that you do. It must just be the way you do things. And for us, the other thing that's very important, we keep healthy assets. I talked about safety. You cannot have safe assets without healthy assets. So we make sure that our assets are healthy at all times. We keep them clean. They say cleanliness is next to godliness. So if it's not clean, we will not know if something is breaking. So we keep the assets clean to make sure that we can see if any asset has a problem. So we look at financial sustainability. When you are in business, once you reach what we call capacity, say you're selling vegetables and you can make 200 kilograms a day, but you've got customers that need 400 kilograms. You need to then look for funding to say, I cannot not service that customer just because I don't have capital. Then there are funding organizations. They're around us. I was talking to a lady from IDC who funds anything up to 20 million, and that's called small business. She's around here. So you look at those people, you start doing something. You start doing something. Because when you come to me and say, you know what, I want to sell vegetables, but you've got a backyard. In that backyard, you don't have spinach growing. You go buy spinach as it is, but you say you want to sell vegetables. I don't see passion. I want you to tell me at home, I've got a spinach patch, I've got cabbages, I've got tomatoes. I don't buy these things. I do them myself, and I realize that I do them so well that I want to grow this business and start selling to my neighbors or to the shop around the corner so that they can sell to the customers, or I'm going to sell directly to the customers. But if you are not doing anything and you just want funding, it's going to be difficult to get funding. So you need to start something. And when we say capital, we always think money. We always think money when we say capital. Some of the capital is your knowledge, your ability to wake up and do work. If you have that patch of vegetables and you don't have a customer, and you go to a funder and say, you know what, I don't have a customer because customers say that I need to, the customers say, I need to have so many tons or so many kilograms. I can't do that because I don't have funding. But the customers are there, they're just waiting for me to be big enough. It's easier for the funding organizations to look at you. I know I'm talking about may seem logistics, but I'm talking about other things that are about business, but this is about entrepreneurship. You start something, and you keep working, and don't wait for money. Start, the money will follow. So long as you can buy seeds, for example, if you are into agriculture. If you are carving things, so long as you can buy a knife and carve those things, start something. When you come to me and say, I've got an idea, and you don't have, if you say, I make wooden spoons, but you don't even have one wooden spoon to show me. I'm like, are you really making wooden spoons? So for us, coming back to the presentation, customer acquisition is very important. Customer retention is important. It's important to get new customers, but to retain them tells us a lot about your business, about your service. If customers come and buy once and go and they never come back, there's something you do wrong. So you need to make sure the customer belongs to you. And is not loyal because of loyalty points. It's loyal because of loyalable service. That word is new. Don't use it. Loyalable service. A service that you know I've got to be loyal to this supplier. So that talks to customer satisfaction. You have got to mix your customers. You can't have one customer or one type of customer, because if you've got one type of a customer and that industry has got a problem, it dies. We've seen what happened during COVID. If you've got one customer and that customer goes to venues on a weekend and you don't have an online way of entertaining, your business is not sustainable in certain circumstances. So you need to diversify your offering. Just make sure that if this doesn't work, at least that will work. Okay, so, and understand the markets, be able to align. If there's something fashionable that is coming in, be the first to start selling it. If you go to Gauteng and you realize that Gauteng people are doing something that people in Mafikeng are not doing, you're the first person to do it. And then, you make money that way. Once you've made money, if that thing is no longer making money, everybody's doing, you're doing the next new thing. Am I too far from this thing now? So that's just us making our big deliveries. Our assets, you can see they are clean. And they are clean all the time. So where does this Mason brand come from? And this is a nice story that I like sharing. So some of you have already entangled this thing. But Mason, my surname is Semenya, and we took the surname, played with the words, and we came up with Mason. This was actually, I've got 2 daughters, your kind of age. So together with my wife and our daughter, we sat down and said, okay, we need to get a name. We want it to be catchy. You know, maybe we succeeded, maybe we didn't succeed, you are the judge. We said, but we want to use our surname, but we cannot be called Semenya Logistics. We don't want that for our own reasons. Semenya is a big surname. If you start using it, you might have the king coming to you and talking to you nicely. So we decided we'll call it this way, but every single thing you see there, and this is the fun part of business, everything you do, you can actually have fun in it. We said, okay, let's play with this thing. What are the colors? How do we become visible? And we came up with all these colors. It was debates and, you know, personalities were coming out. No, I want it this way. It has to have red. And this is how the brand came out. And I just like sharing this because you can actually have fun with your business, with your family, with your relatives. You can make it a fun space to be in. Thank you. So, of course, I didn't only come here to talk about my business and how business is done. We have a problem. Do you agree? We have a big problem. 41% of you guys between 25 and 34 are unemployed. And if you extend that to between 15 and 34, it becomes 60-something%. Do we agree this is a problem? Do we agree that this means that we have to rely on government grants? Is there dignity in relying on government grants? And we want to be dignified. So it is a problem. It means that some of us who are not getting a job, because some of you will get, because you'll be in the 40-something%, if you're looking at 18 to 35, you'll get a job. But let me tell you what, the 60% is going to take whatever you make from you, because they also want to eat. We call them criminals. And you're going to be surprised, why are criminals increasing? No, we are actually in a period of creating criminals if we're not creating employment. So whatever it is that you're doing, you need to be thinking, how do I make sure that the next person is also employed so that they don't have to steal from me, from myself? So if I take out my phone and it's a top of the range whatever phone and I leave it here and everyone has got one, do you think it's going to disappear? It's not going to disappear. But if people don't have and they want to have the same thing, they're going to take it and they're going to try and make money out of it, or they're going to keep it for themselves. So let's not be in the country of creating criminals. Let's start doing something. Of course, it means that a lot of people will not have access to education. And education is power. Education is power. If we don't have education, we don't have skills, and you become to certain ages, you become a 40-year-old unskilled person, you just are going to become a danger to society. And of course, hunger, poverty, and even the taxes are going to dry up, because if there's not enough people working, it means there's not enough people paying tax. It means that my grandfather and grandmother do not get government grant. Why? Because who's paying the tax? So we need to understand how these things work so that it becomes important for each one of us to say, what is my role in fixing what's happening around me? So let me remind us who we are, because we tend to forget these things. You know, this country is the country that brought you Nelson Mandela. You don't know him? Oh, okay, yeah. I thought maybe he never came here. There is a guy called Nelson Mandela. He comes from here, from this country. There was another one called Robert Sobukwe. There's Chris Hani. There's Winnie Mandela. So there's Lucas Manyani Mangope, for example. These are the people These are the people that walked this country. And these are people who did great things, right? If they came from here, why can't we do the same thing? Do you know that we are a country that has MTN, Discovery, Investec? Do you know that these companies are not only in South Africa? You can go to Iran. I don't know if you know even where it is on the map. You'll find MTN. Nigeria, you'll find MTN. You can go to England. Those who watch soccer, you'll see Discovery, Vitality. In the Premiership of England, the biggest soccer stage on the planet. It came from South Africa. Investec, it came from South Africa. So it means South Africa has started this thing and is not finished. We are going to still have a lot more companies coming out of the lot. I think it's important to show you some of the things that will make you even believe more. You know Batushu? It's not imported. It's from here. The guy lives in Alexandra. Alexandra is in Joburg. Right? You've heard of Richard Maponya. But more importantly, I deliberately took these pictures so that you can see the people that are making change in this country and see if they're different from you. Tell me what is different. Tell me what, look at these pictures and tell me if you see anything different between you and them. Have you heard of dry bath? I know you didn't. Why do I know? It's because you guys have got a lot of water. You never have to bath without water. This guy, Ludwig Mamabolo, decided to, actually the surname is wrong, it's Marishani, sorry, apologies, Ludwig. Ludwig Marishani created a product called dry bath. Yeah, I was confused like you. You bath but dry. Kanjan. Yeah, that's why it's a product that when you fly in Virgin Atlantic and some of the biggest flights in the world, you'll find his product that Sir Richard Branson had to buy to understand that my customers, when they fly long distance from one continent to another, when they get there, they don't have time to bath, but they want to be fresh. He's done that. This guy is from Limpopo. You know delivery speed. You know delivery speed from Goedrigheid. It's a young guy, like you guys. He started a scooter company that delivers in the townships. It's called Delivery Speed. Whatever you want, he will deliver it Speed. Speed, it'll be there. And then we've got Mohadi. Mohadi does honey. He call it native no-see. Is honey that is not processed with chemicals. It's clean honey. The point of this slide is to say to you guys, the people who are doing these things, they breathe the same oxygen as me and you. If you read each one of them's stories, you will realize the obsession that I was talking about. They are obsessed with achieving what they want to achieve. Ludwig, for example, I read his story I've been following it. he was doing his research on doing this dry bath on his phone. He didn't have computers, he didn't have all those things, and it was not a smartphone. He was doing all of that work, researching on that. He's got a product that you'll go to Clicks, you'll get it, you'll go to Europe, you'll get it. And you're not buying it because you've got a lot of water, you never need to be fresh without washing or bathing. But these are the people. If I only had to speak to one slide, this would be the slide. To say, guys, it's people like you and I that are doing all these things. But because I can't be on the same slide the whole day, let's move to this one. This one is asking you to commit. We need to rewrite the story of this country. And it's you and I that need to rewrite the story of this country. As I said, we are the people we are waiting for. We are the change makers. We're going to change. Am I forcing this on you, or are we going to change? So, who is going to make the change? Thank you. So we are going to make the change. We're going to have to find something that we are passionate about, and we're going to start doing it. And we're going to do it consistently until we get it right. We're going to get it wrong many times. Like a child, when they start to walk, they fall so many times, but they stand up and they walk again. And they fall again, they walk, they stand up and they walk again. And then they start running because they're thinking this thing is fun, and they fall even harder. But they stand up again. Let's just take the spirit of a child and do it. You need to have dreams, you have to have aspirations, you have to have a plan. The child doesn't even know, but they have a plan. They have a plan to walk, and to walk fast, like they see their mother and their father walking and walking really fast. And they say, if I can walk like that, and they do it. So I'm going to stop there. Thank you very much. My beautiful wife is coming on stage now. She's going to finish off. Press here for going forward.
Rise, black child. Rise and shine, 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 black child. I want to hear you to say, black child, it can be done. Black child, it can be done. Black child, it can be done. When I greet my kids every day, I remind them the glory of being in a black skin, the glory of wearing a brown skin. It cannot be tainted. It does not need anyone to give it anything to get further. Black child, you are enough. I'm talking to a child who is sitting here and saying, I don't have hope. I'm talking to that child who's been rejected. Let me tell you, I have been rejected. Let me tell you, a black child, it can be done. Don't sit in your corner and think, this is it. Don't do that to yourself. Black child, it can be done. The reason I'm emphasizing the black skin is that I don't want us to look down on ourselves. Don't look down on yourself. I'm not here to talk about any other thing. I'm here to remind you of the greatness that you have. Even if it's one person who's going to hear me, it's okay. But let me tell you a story behind the story. When I entered here today, I find something that I'm going to talk to, and I want us to reflect, not today, but I've observed this in all the events that I go where black people are. We need to shorten the noise. You cannot go further with so much noise. You cannot think straight when there's so much noise. You need a moment to reflect. You need a moment to listen to yourself. You cannot see what is happening around you with the noise. There's too much noise that we need to lessen and reduce. I'm not about making you feel good about yourself, but I'm going to tell you few facts to determine whether you're going to proceed further or not. You waste your days today as a young person. You are young, you have energy. Your soul is still standing. You are still okay. You have your good health now. If you waste it, if you waste your health, you cannot be the leader that we're looking for because you will be sick. If you waste your being as a human being, as a person who's supposed to serve other people and make this country better, you're wasting your time. You're wasting our time, black child. Black child, you can rise. Rise and shine, black child. Rise and shine, black child. I'm not here on a ticket to make you think that it cannot be done. I want to talk about a few things here so that we understand. Things that are being achieved, they are achieved because of few critical things. I wish somebody had told me few years ago that I need to start nurturing my leadership skills at a very young age. I wish somebody had told me at a young age that I need what we call self-control. If you cannot control yourself, if you can't control yourself and waste yourself now, we don't have leaders for tomorrow. If you're going to be that person who can't control yourself, you're wasting our time. I'm not here to insult you. I want you to reflect. I want you to take a mirror and ask yourself, who am I? I hear people sitting and complaining about, I don't have support. I hear that. I hear you. But how much time are you wasting every day on social media? I'm talking to you. You can blame other people. How much time are you wasting every single day on social media? If you can't answer that question, you're wasting my time. Black child, reflect. Self-awareness. Do you even know where you are? If you can't identify who you are amongst other people and fight for your own space, you will regret in the later years. You still have the energy, capacity, capability to achieve further because you are still young. You are able. Next time when we gather as black people, we need to reduce the level of music and the dancing. When a black child is trending, it makes me sick. It's because of the dancing. Why don't we see you there as inventors? And there's nothing wrong with a black child dancing, but can you please balance? Balance. We cannot be known for dancing. We need to invent. Start small. Black child, start small where you are. Regulate yourself. I wish somebody had told me this years ago, but nobody told me. Regulate yourself. By regulating yourself, you need to control where you go and where you don't go. If you don't do that, If you don't be that person who's always available and accessible. It means you are cheap. You must start selling your labor. Start selling your labor, whatever you do. If you do the dishes, do it and make money. Start small. Start small. I look at other nations, they come here carrying only bags. I don't want to talk about them, to mention them, because they live amongst us. We go to them and buy, because why? We killed our own spaza shops. We think, oh, it's too lousy for me, I can't do it. Let me tell you, money is money. The smell of money is the same. You need to smell that money and understand the value of money. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you can generate money, you will be fine. You will be fine because you have to bring back your dignity. Lastly, manage relationships. Manage relationships. You're going to ask me which one. I'm not talking about strategy. I am not talking about that. When someone gives an opportunity, whether it's a small opportunity, under their umbrella, respect it. Black child, respect it. When somebody refer you to someone to say, go and do this, whatever job for this person, do it well. Because I had borrowed you my connections, but you don't respect it. How many times did people connect you with other people, but you let them down? People don't give you opportunities because you're great. Let me tell you what they do. Because they can trust you. Some are sitting here frustrated, not because you are not smart. You are. But people depend on you. Are you reliable? It starts with small things. Whether it's family gatherings or social gatherings, small parties, if you cannot commit to what you say you will commit, you are in trouble. If somebody borrows you money, you don't bring it back. It's a bad culture. How are you then going to go to IDC, to the APSA of the world, and CIFA and say, I need to be supported? You cannot be trusted. If you cannot be trusted with money at this age, you're going to have a problem. Lastly, my shorting slide. Few things that can make you a better human being. Even if you forget everything else, but remember this. Identify that one thing, that one value in your community. That one thing. Are you able to clean? Are you able to type? Are you able to clean? Are you able to do a garden? But why do we go hungry as black people? Why do we live in filth? Guys, we can blame government all we want. It is for us to be active citizens and make it better for ourselves. People are now transforming litter, waste, and making money. They're making money, they're killing it. Guys, let me tell you a secret that those other people, including white people, that they will not tell you. Waste is expensive. They take your waste. They take your waste and make money. If you're going to look at the tires that are on the ground and look at it as waste, somebody is seeing money. If you're going to look at the kitchen waste and those bio waste, somebody is busy making manure. While you are here sitting, you are here sitting waiting for something or someone. Let me tell you something. Nobody's coming to save you. My friend, nobody's coming to save you. Identify that opportunity, make it happen, make profit. Lastly, in closing, I love hallelujah. I love it. I'm showing this slide deliberately. I don't know where that slide is. Can I go back to that slide? Can I just go quickly to that slide? Don't be obsessed with formal clothes. I'm in logistics, right? When I need mechanic, unfortunately, black guys are not there, reliable. There are opportunities that I wanted to show here that I was hoping that they will be here. Can someone just help me navigate here? The slide. So, guys, I'm gonna do yourself a favor. Don't be that guy who wants to work in the office. Those jobs are gone, they're finished. They are gone. If people are still lying to you these days, I will tell you why I'm saying those jobs are gone. They're still here for now. But in the next 10, 15 years, those jobs are gone. Robotics is here to stay. You can't do nothing about it. It's either you coexist or you disappear. Artificial intelligence, guys, has taken over. Has taken over. If you forget everything that I've said today, everything else, at least remember these other things. In everything, the beautiful things that we were seeing about the trucks, what we are not telling you is that those assets need to be fixed, needs to be maintained. That's where you come in. Get into such spaces. Can you see? Behind the scene opportunities, and they're underrated. But each time when we look at our financials and see where the money is going, these guys are making it. It's the batteries, if you can be able to do that. If you're able to specialize in tires, if you're able to specialize in understanding fuel, not to be a petrol attendant, to be able to test the fuel, to understand whether to do fuel pregnancy, to test whether this fuel is good or not. Those are some of the careers that we need to do and maintain the fleet. Lastly, black child, as I leave, never forget who you are, but don't waste your youthful days, because you're still standing, you are rising, you've got the energy. Until we meet again, black child, yes. Black child, it can. Thank you.
Ang mo beleng matsogo. Hagit galona. Number one, black child, rise and shine. Because the most important thing, we don't have time. These are the opportunities that we need to take now and seize. Big thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Semenya. They were letting us in on number one, the big company. I believe it's a big company. We started 2 years in, and they've really done that much. All you have to do is what? Start. Just start. Sumulla fela. Nice one. Okay. Re tshwanetse re go pele lotlhe la moitsi ka se le re ha le moitsi ke ena tlo rona our master class for today. Re buile about starting, right? So he's going to let us in on specifically that. Ha ke itse gore e ka nna megolokwane, e ka nna eng, but a big shout out! Mo Molimi on the stage!
One. Posso que mutu ospinam kole ya sen. Kau chaela asai. Ka kimuriski. Mouton, make some noise. Karaboso que man jeba. Jeba. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mouton. Ke kopa go leboga bang ba mupile wa ratsidi go se montshiwa le ba bogosi ke leboge motapele wa rona mo koni bophirima re bushima ape premier majoro ko districting re khumalo mo lefe majoro mo mahike mo wa rona o re leng hakele majoro Tshepiso Mphela Mphetlo ke bone o sko ke tsantsa le ha on her behalf ko LED. Thank you so much. And lastly, I'd like to thank the people from EmpowaWorks for giving me the opportunity to come here ke tlo go share le lona. Maptown le tlile le tlhapile le bantle. Wait, I love the response. Big up. Asia akagabela tlasa lefika akagamatsa molala go emela ditshika alwana jaka rote ga tshonyana di modika angangarela a itira kgosi ka bodipa ke semela sa selemo sejalo sa masomosomo selala siko ka sefela sa mazayon badimo ba ba khutswane mampone mpone ha ba go bona ba re a wena ga o mpone ke ba rongwa ba batlodile mello ya badimo ba betla taola ba gole ga ba le godimo ba puta baruti botle go tlela le ditilo ba totobatsa modimo wa le khwale silo ga tsoga dintwa na mama di dinta go phatlalla le banna ba di rinta go tsa dingwaga go sedimoga ditiro tsa me ka nako dia motsakolista make some noise. All right, I'm here to make a presentation, but presentation here guys is not for you Lona Baba 500. It's for 5 people who are doing hale. Because le nna ke batla madi. Mare le re etse ka tlhoafala cause le ka ithuta sengwe gore madi a kriwa jang akere. Right. Ra technology a go ntsenye mo. So my presentation today I've just simply called it Fresh Produce Marketing and Branding. Ke motho wa dijalo ne. Ke motho wa dijalo. Ke motho wa temothuo mare as you know temothuo is very broad. Yesterday ke bone go na le a whole lecture agriculture. I'm sure le itsetse go le gontsi. Le skala re ka re mo motseng mo ya no le tsenelwa ka agriculture. Ke a le itse lona batho ba Mafutane le cool too much. Le khawatile ke bo cool. Ko Pitori tla re lona bafana ba Mafutane le khawatiwa ke bo easy. Le easy too. Hona na kwa bo easy ne. Tlamela re lwele. So I've gone with fresh produce because from the very beginning of my journey in agriculture, I started with vegetables because I was inspired by Bojaman. La izi Bojaman ba go montshiwa ke re bo Sipho, bo Fire Eye. La ba izi again. Yeah, those people in the turn of the century when come at 99 2000 they really took over psychology mo kasi. I'm sure ba bantsi ba lona le seyo but hey, kasi yo tlene was yellow green bread all over the place, ilebo Germany everywhere, go university, ili bingi ka modicha everywhere. But some of those people I don't know if you know Advocate Sipho Mantuli, Rasta Gideon, and many of them have gone on to do great things. I know Rastafari is teaching film Mabana. They happen to have been very highly educated people who were bringing the psychology of self-awareness and self-reliance. Self-awareness, self-reliance. Ne? And at the turn of the century, when we were very depressed, they came with this psychology of wanting us to do for ourselves. And that's how they inspired me to get into the business of food production. I want to ball notes on good to So I came from that background, but now, when I met these Rastas, they conscientized me to say, hey, here is my freedom here. From here, from the soil that I step on every day, I can actually make a living and free myself. So I took that journey and started in this business agriculture. And when I started getting vegetables because simply, can I lead your allergies a buyer so. One block and stuff. My then vegetable I bui, I see, I did you know, one so I started in the fresh produce business when I started Kamuma 2002 or 3. But my journey doesn't start there. Ne? My journey starts way back in 1989 when I first saw Katlahomwari, who's my big brother, perform I Need Love by LL Cool J. Go Mabana, go Top of the Bob Pops. That's when I first met rap music. And from LL Cool J, I started learning DJ, Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Jam Bobo, Chris Cross, Vanilla Ice, MCM Atsena, he was killing it. Then what are the age about Tupac, Biggie, Gangsta Rap, Snoop, Barohana, but that's when we really started going into this thing. In 2005, I told you Lily KG had a meeting and we decided to form Moraf. In 1995, we were still in high school then. Negitsana ko hostel, tudia tsana ko pochi, majita wale mokasi, rekwala dipina ka phone, cut phone, 50 cent, rekwala verse all over. 1995, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. Only then we released the first album, Yamorafi Maruapula. So the whole time, we reduce Mafikeng. Resina the studio, resina internet, the record label totally lugo Josie, Ribuastuana, Rasa, quite Zulufela, you know, all those obstacles. There was never one day that we didn't believe we will make it. We used to go from Unit 8, Unit 2, Munsiwa, hustling for this dream. Nah? Hustling for this dream and hustling hard until we met that nigga called Jeba. Ne? Mercy's rest in peace. And when we met him, it comes to the core of my talk today, which is lucky. Every time we read a little lucky easy. Ne? Hey, when I lucky, when I lucky, popile, when I lucky. What is luck? Ne? What is the definition of luck? Ne? Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Say it with me. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. Okay? Opportunity can come every day. Opportunity comes every day. The question is, are you prepared for the opportunity? Okay? When the opportunity for a job comes, do you have the necessary qualifications to be lucky? Okay? That's why you need the qualification. So that when the opportunity comes, the preparation meets the opportunity and you become lucky. Okay? You get what is due to you. So whatever it is that you do, that you prepare, you must prepare hard, whatever it is that you are doing. Even when now Samaka Diketo, only the best Diketo player. Mokasi. When I woke up this morning coming here, on the radio I heard this woman say, she played a clip from someone. This person was actually saying, it's funny that the most brilliant people in the world who become billionaires, they're always invited to platforms like this. And when they gather up on the platforms, they talk about their big journeys. And in the end, they tell young people or the audience, follow your passion. Follow your passion. But is melting iron ore. So when did smelting iron ore become your passion, right? Can be. So he went on then to say, whatever you think you are good at, work hard at it. Work hard at it. Be the master of it. Be the very best of whatever it is you do until you develop a passion for it. I think that made a lot of sense for me, okay? Because then I managed to connect it with what Eliud Kipchoge had said. Let me see Eliud Kipchoge. All right. Hi, you go TikTok also. Eliud is the world record holder ya the marathon, 42 kilometers. He's the only man in the planet to ever run a full marathon, 42 kilometers under 2 hours. Ne? He's Kenyan by birth. If you go on your Eliud Kipchoge on discipline, you'll see a video where he says, only the disciplined are free. Only the disciplined are free. Okay? Those who are ill-disciplined fall prey to their passions and their feelings. Yeah, in life, to succeed, you must be disciplined. Against all odds, you have to do it so that you can achieve what you are hoping to achieve. It really got to me, the thing, discipline, okay, goes hand in hand with developing passion. Because when you are disciplined about what you do, definitely you will develop a passion for it. So without wasting more time, presentation. There's a video here, but this video, it talks about everything I'm going to talk today. So, agricultural value chain, okay? I don't know how agriculture, but in general, here's what the agricultural value chain is through that whole process. So basically, when we look at the value chain the way it is, we are just breaking it down into disciplines so that you know how many wheels are keeping this car and retail. If you know the answer, just pick up your hand and then I'll ask questions as we go. How say it's fine, don't worry. Which is the biggest retailer in this country? Who knows? The biggest retailer of retailer. Somebody says ShopRite. ShopRite Checkers, ne? Yeah, ShopRite Checkers because it's the oldest, ne? Yeah, ShopRite Checkers because it's the oldest, and I think they have more than 1,000 stores right through Southern Africa, ne? It's followed by other guys. Then we find wholesaler. Wholesalers, come on, the wholesaler, Maftown. Tag, ne? Tag, come on, Jumbo. Who else? Ma? Patel, ne? Patel, ne? Who else? Bombay. Is it? Bombay. Come on, wholesaler, what the vegetables? Eba na lena di hawkers mo akona di hawkers di ma di hawkers di theogetsa gona no. People's Market ne. Thank you CC. People's Market ne. Yeah. We don't have a wholesaler about that ne. Ali yo mo businessing ne. Ibila ali yo local retailing kwale alena supermarket. Logistics. That has just spoken about logistics ne. Every day, I wonder how many trucks coming in and out of town or through town, ne? Kadijo. Pick and Pay, ShopRite Checkers, Woolies, all of them, ne? Food come in and out. Famous brands, Ocean Basket, all these guys, McDonald's, KFC, Nando's. Food if it lemon, I shouldn't say it like a transport, ne? Kaizo Babambalona le Pulta Sporo, so Trina Sakonozama. So now we rely on trucks and vans to move our food. And food must move every day because in the business of food, you are dealing with 8 billion customers every day that must eat at least twice. So you can't be wrong, and you can't get it wrong, because a hungry person is an angry person. Ne? Yeah, the quickest way to ban a country is to starve people. Ne? When people become hungry, they become agitated. So logistics on its own is a business. Ne? And fortunately, Tatasimia has just explained to you his logistics business and its capacity and how quickly it grew in a short space of time. So even within the food business, agere baba mala na rata di taxi sa le ntse le palame taxi ko sa eteng go collector zakane or rata go driver, and you can move into this business of moving food if you are not interested in being in the field. Ne? So it's a business on its own. Then we are talking about marketing. Marketing because it's not tangible, ne? Something else. Then we move to processing and packing. Ne? Tell me example of a processing plant in Mafikeng. Who knows a processing? Manufacturer. Supreme. So, yeah, agri-chicks, ne? Yeah, they slaughter there. Yeah, but so you just take with it, pay with it, it's fine. Otherwise, I can stop a worse. Who else is manufacturing in Maptown? Huh? Feeds. Corporas. Corporas manufacturers, bebra. What is sweeting? Hold on, I'm not doing sweet. Damn it. All right. There was a mill, ne? It's I don't know who's working there. There was also an abattoir there, ne? An abattoir slaughterhouse, which is manufacturing. So this shows you the opportunity that's there here. Okay? It shows you the opportunity that is here, at this moment, to say, Kemang adirampali chimomaike. Ager, Kemai ram peanut butter, Lejam roto every day. Honali be Karaza Bayane, be Karadi in Zizona. Yeah, Honalasan be Gisas Kokum Rahu and independent. But Kema dirambotoro. I want to rambotoro no. Jeme. Ayone. So there lies an opportunity already. But are you prepared for the opportunity? Ne? Are you prepared? Then lastly, which is inversely, firstly, we have production. Ne? That is obvious. But I was telling them, you know, let us a little bit more Josie Monamare. There's a lot of because let us a put it up. Usually put it on a rolo, monitor to Sakazonimo. Hey, Bogo, let's check it. So, primary production, you know, we know primary production. So, agriculture is not sexy, ne? It's not interesting. It's not something that you wake up generally wanting to be. And all the people who want to get into agriculture, they're always obsessed in coming into production. Ne? They are spinach. Ne? Everybody else just spinach. So that is fine. So myself, I started off as a motocolista. Ne? And then when I was at university, more watching, then get some Malibu Jaman. I managed to get into this competition where we had to do an undergrad course. And then with the undergrad assignment, as it is a competition between Mafikeng and Poch. And we had to do, it was about the provincial budget and the priorities of the budget, ne? As an undergrad student, economics. So when I was doing that research for that competition, then it dawned on me actually how big agriculture is. Ne? It's so huge, Then I thought to myself, no, this is the industry I must go into. I'm born for this thing, okay? So I did that thing, and then I came second in the competition province. And then Bangaza Ganyana ke kaola ke go ino le majita ko skalo. Then I made a decision. Ne? Economics goes gela plus Minister Kaskas, I give you MEC Kaskas, ne? I give you a blind. MEC Kaskas in still MEC Kanokwateng, plus Bojamani Kayirne, Kaizana Didinya famine. But already, I was already in the hip hop business, Libojebane. So when I started planting in the canal mat like a planter, hard, ke produce buyer. Then ki regisa kai, produce ready. Okay, since it's in a motropong, Hagi I go chop pisida, I am a con 3 hours. Hey, my friend, I'll be with you just now, eh? Salute mida. How you go pick and pay, same story. How you guy, eh, monaish. O do not send to a gomajite goes to Pune, BK. How's another, eh, Braya, Gane, Kavichek, it's a 3 random feet. Majamani killing is a gola, Kale Giduka Kavichiko Simune, 12 weeks. It's seedling, it's fertilizer, it's water, it's labor, it's time, ne? And no, that Kavichaka Mohona, Katri Ranta Honano, we register immediately. 15, ne? Immediately, ne? Because when it's perishable goods, I can't take them back, ne? So farmers are stuck with that problem, ne? All our farmers. And that's why they collapse, not because they can't farm, but because the market is twisted against their interest, ne? They are not able to recover and be profitable over and above their production. So when you look at that value chain that I just showed above, it shows you the rest of us are packed up, ne, at the production there. But when you look at the entire value chain, hariyo. And when we begin to occupy spaces in the value chain, then we are going to create more opportunities for producers. Ne? And when we create more opportunities for producers, we are going to create more jobs. Ne? When we create more jobs, we are going to create food security. Ne? Because there's always a demand for food. Food goes everywhere around the world every day. You can't produce enough food. In fact, we have less food, so it can't be that you have an oversaturation of food production. We need more. So we have to now get our mind into this value chain. Think beyond think where you fit in that value chain. Because wherever you fit in, you are going to create more opportunities for other people to come in. Ne? So this is my journey. I started in production. Then I thought to myself, what do I see? I see McCain. Ne? What do I see? I see harvest time. What do I see? Pot of gold. Ne? What do I see? ZZ2, Ku, ne? Iwisa. Ne? But when you walk through all the aisles, you'll never find one black product branded, ne? In the shop. Not even polish, nothing. You won't find anything, not even Fatuku, nothing, whether it's canned food, whether there is no black product on any shop floor. Ne? Why is that? Why is that? Which one? You don't know where to go. When you're in doubt, go home, Chanawaka. Go home. Why is that? The simple answer is that we are not creating opportunities for ourselves. Ne? We need to create those opportunities, because if somebody can come from Bangladesh and open an opportunity in your neighborhood, it means there's nothing wrong with you. Ne? There's just something wrong with the system and how we are operating it. So I got tired of waiting, go choppies. Ne? I didn't want that anymore. So consciously I decided I need to develop my own food brand so that I can become a business on my own. I'm done. 5 minutes. All right, just 5 minutes. So I developed this logo, ne? And then Jeba and Tusa were ready keeper, ne? We sold so many of these shirts, ne? With that money, Rakona record album, ne? And I released my album Amanzi. Through this brand, I managed to develop myself into a brand, ne? From it, I managed to develop the aparo, the tori, mojomeneka dori all the time, rabaisane. And then in 2007 or 8, that's when we take this picture. Ne? You can see who's there. There's Kuli, there's Todi, there's KG, there's Jeba, there's Tugubani. Ne? What were we doing here? We were doing collective branding, ne? And when we started moving like this, we managed to put Motswako on the map, ne? So this is about collaboration. Hore razama mare haraspanisane, ne? Only haraspanisane we are going to see progress in what we want to do, ne? These are front covers, ne? These are front covers of magazines we took, ne? And I took these two especially because this guy Nele Otiaga, ne? He sacrificed himself and his income and everything to say, my friend, I'm bringing you in, ne? The world needs to hear your talent, ne? He forced that so it leaves that lesson. Do you know? We know what further on you wasn't some rough, wasn't saying, and eventually wasn't the case from gaming, but not everyone. He touched all of us, ne? And he's special in that way. So we always will remember him, and that if we invest in each other, we are going to go far. Ne? This man invested a lot in us, ne? And then we managed to build ourselves into brands. Ne? Through what we did, we managed to travel the entire world and stepped on the biggest stages. Ne? And then what happened now? It means we became brands. We could sell anything. So you know brands like Kanye West and Adidas. Ne? We know Fenty. She has become the richest woman in entertainment through her brand development attached to Fenty makeup. Again, Jay-Z is worth over $2 billion now. Come the cigarette, Lebojalwa, Lidizolo, and those are totally. So I touch on the brand Jay-Z too, ne? And I'm saying Illuminati, ne? But I had to start to master a product. I had to master my product first. I have a brand, but now I must master my product. So what did I do? I went to school, ne? Green South Africa, Jew Crisp, TETA, Bootle, SAB Kickstart. I won the SAB Kickstart, by the way, in 2010. Ne? Kagrale Zaka Kaija. Mill Park, Lohana Nung Kitana Regent, ne? Scholar Hasi, you have to master your product. Here's my product that I made my footing and spinach. I had to master this product. I had to master the soil, know what pH is, type of soil, understand NPK, how the plant yellow, nitrogen, phosphate, potassium, nutrition, master that skill. Ne? After I mastered that skill, I started developing my branding now, packaging. Ne? No, don't clap yet. Don't clap yet. Wabana da renki sticker ne. Yeah, because I print a sticker kay ba mo di mo kapageta me kini ne. Kay ba mo Facebook ne. But you do me la ora mo jeme no te ni kiriye. Ke ne. But look what happened next, ne? I managed to do the real thing. So you must fake it till you make it, Aman. You fake it, but you make it. Aman. So as you can see, you go Pick and Pay. You see, I managed to get into Pick and Pay through my branding. Ne? So now what can I do? Can master a skill? Can I brand? Now can I packaging? Can say ne? But that was not enough. Ne? It was not enough. I needed to go further now and get into processing now and master this game as well. Ne? So according to this game, and finally I got a processing unit yaka. Kasimula ka my own processed vegetables. Then you go further. You add value. You add value. You add value. And say, hey, give me a minute, eating. How about the bottle and I get one down? Eh? So then I said, I can only brand. I must find a way of retailing myself. So I don't have a picture of how I started. Box. Because I knew what I was doing. I had a vision. I was preparing what I was going for. So Kasimula da marka bone ya kuri shopong kabonor ne maramatwaba. Okay, go shopong barikisa so. Those who know me know what outlining unit na university ne ke bloma da lebu majuli papa le izi majuli go 7 ya again. Yeah, people will always talk ne. Focus on what you're doing, bruh. Focus. Focus. Bon, now we are pimping, ne? Mare ya lapisa di ding sunso pa ko pa ko le mai tsibuo phute eish. It's a lot of work, ne? Ya lapisa this whole thing. But I made a lot of money at the street corner, ne? I was making about 2,000 rand every day at the street corner. Because when I go onto social media, I put, hey, come meet Mojo Man, Majitaba Zwagala, or Tamatu, regular next door neighbor. They are happy, ne? So we've managed to push and we get encouraged. So I had to focus on sharp, ne? Where am I going with this thing? Kibatahona supermarket in myself and be able to cater for these markets where my money is, ne? Cafes, hotels, schools, which is government, hawkers. Focus on my market and understand where it is where I'm going to push my brand in, ne? Have a space. Then in 2014, I moved to Bloemfontein. When I was there in Bloemfontein, I started Backwild now. I rebranded into this, got those bags, and started moving into Spy and Pick and Pay. Ne? Fortunately, by luck, by 2019, 2020, we managed to get a shop in Mafikeng after looking for a long time. Ne? Region, don't clap yet, don't clap yet, don't clap yet. Bongwanaka about to shop yakane. Once, not twice, but 3 times. Ne? By 2 hours, ne? And a kilo never roll a little shop yakane. It's not you guys, ne? Yeah, but they shut me down, Mom of Town, ne? Yeah, but they thought they could bury me, but I'm seed, you can't destroy me, ne? Yeah, but I managed to dream, ne? I'm moving one closer to being Pick and Pay. This guy ke happy, ne? So so, but Happy was my SRC president when I was at Uni. He's one of my biggest fans. Like as on social media today, you will find him on Kota or Kota Majita. This is the partnerships we have built as Bashar Sapota and business. This is my leader when I see him. I say, hey, President, comrade President. Say, hey, Musokolista, how are you doing? Freshers ball kana. Today they support us, they make sure we are going forward together. So as a generation, we need to be like other people, other nations who support each other and stick together. Ne? This year, I moved to Johannesburg after Lituba Shopoyaka. COVID, 2020, 21, 2022. Finally, I got an opportunity. I found an investor who came into my business. These guys bought Food 24. They bought a stake in my business for about $1 million. And then we rebranded here. Ne? This is where we are now. Ne? We have a huge store in Johannesburg in Krugersdorp. Ne? So I came here all the way from Joburg. And then, Kimang Azna, Pako IDC, Otlong Gaza Gadane, or Kikurizeri, so Tozakadia Copa, and Labona Sharp. So I do master classes in agriculture to build my brand again, so that I use my opportunity, my competitive opportunity, my opportunity advantage over Pick and Pay because Hasimutoko listas ne. So this is what I do. I do master classes, I do courses ne, over and above because I understand the value of what I am trying to do. Malabakanegidira agricultural show, 200 people came. I'm encouraging them to plant so I can buy for them and become their market, ne? So that we occupy the value chain. So I do these workshops, ne? So that people can have an understanding and an inclination by school, by the colleging, from learning from what I am teaching now. Ne? 3 days later, I go touchdown on Alabatwa, 6 million, boom, everybody knows Mojo Men. Ne? It's a very simple thing. So from the marketing point of view, I'm able to push my product. Ne? I'm accredited to train people. These are my courses that I'm accredited to train. Zaga. Yeah, but since the game, of course, like he's going to list a pusher. This thing you got keep us so in the end, guys, so please 2 minutes. I'm talking about partnerships. Ne? When I'm talking about partnerships, I'm talking about when you want to be in business, you have to respect how you work with other people. Ne? whether they are shareholders or not, and either they are partners or stakeholders. You are never going to succeed alone. You are in an ecosystem. Unless, I repeat, you are able to work with each other, we will never, ever, ever get off the ground. Ne? I need you, you need me, we're going to succeed. Ne? Obviously, everywhere, go grants, mojo, all the time. We are gangsters like that, ne? All the time. One of the biggest partnerships I've formed the hotel school ne, over time. I've been a supplier hotel school for the longest time. They trust my product, they trust my service. Because I mastered it. Ne? We have this thing, food, you see our partners, Tourism Board, Department of Agriculture. We did this food fair during COVID. We're going to come back again. As you see, Majuli Kole, we've always been, we have a vision, we work out fella. UFM is part of our partners. That we have built over time. Through Bojoni, I managed to get into TEDx. This was an opportunity for an international market. So I know I'm on the internet selling my business. Ne? So we respect these opportunities. Kilemonga, Lamizi Lemonga, Kana game program Yagamonga. I blew it. Ne? Yeah, Lemonga similar to Local Jeba, Rexity t-shirt, demonstrating taxi. Today is an executive producer. We work together. That's beast thing. Like to study University, so UFM, Okoka FM. We are all a family. We work together. Getting a lady Rapusha, you see. One of the biggest partnerships I've made was with Medes Bone. Killing your alaga, Wangoba. Gag Fedito Sawar. Fedito Lentito. Let me say this, Gava, okay, Gava. These are some of the things I get on the social media. Ne? So I know you're locally in the data and you're looking at whatever you want, but please use your social media to build whatever it is you are trying to do. Ne? Look at the people that you inspire to. Now I'm always there looking at Jack Ma. I'm always there looking at Elon Musk. I'm always there looking at people who inspire me and who are doing the things I do. Raymond Ackerman, the founder of Pick and Pay. Every day is my Bible. I read that book back and forth. I'm always imagining Ackerman was in 1967. Today he has more than 800 stores 50 years later. I know all I need is one store, and maybe my children and my children's children can get me to where Okamen is. Ne? So be focused in what you want to do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mo. Yo.
Guys, thank you so much.
Adimisana ha utlava kaliswana Allah.
Sorry, I took your chance, guys.
Thank you, DJ. Ha hona o tla emela tlala akere e botlhokwa ha o buile go tlala satla kana ra rialo, and it's quite interesting. Re tlo go tsena into our panel discussion ne. This was a master class. You got an idea of if you want it, you can get it. It's possible. You're going to need this person at some point. It's either you're going to need them to collaborate, it's either you're going to need them as a client, a customer, but you're going to need this person at some point. So we're going to go into our panel discussion. We have different panelists. The opportunity now, and the exciting part is that there is a prize or prizes. So we're going to be discussing, are going to pitch so that you get access to funding. So today, yes, sell yourself. So our panelists are going to come up the stage, but let's enter into our panel discussion. at this point, I we're busy with entrepreneurship. So we're going to be looking into to questions and issues around entrepreneurship. We can't think about issues and problems that are happening where we're not. So let's think of Mabatu, let's think of Mafikeng, let's think of Lumanyaneng, let's think of Ramatlabama. Where are we bringing about solutions? Our panelists, Matsoho, Jakabatla message. Okay, they've arrived. They're sitting on the stage. I'm going to afford each one of them an opportunity. Remember, we're talking about pitching for funding. These are the people that we need to know. We need to know what they want from us. I get how batla le mmereko. Tshwanetse batho ba ba go batlang. Asa nna khanya go bathong khante khala advertiser mmereko ga ke bereke and that's it. No. They need you. They need for you to tell them things that are going to want them to fund what you're going into.
Okay. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Colin. I am from CETA, the Small Enterprise Development Agency. I think when we look at funding, especially pitching for funding, from a CETA perspective, we've got a program that we look at in terms of pitching for funding. What we do is we go into master classes where we literally teach entrepreneurs to come onto, a stage, be able to pitch for whatever they want funding for, and we take it from there. What we do is it's an annual event, so we go throughout the country. We've been to Northwest before, and so we go to every province within the country and we look at what we could do potentially for pitching for funding. I think that it is an opportunity for entrepreneurs, especially to meet with venture capitalists, with DFIs, our development finance institutions, as well as banks and other investors that could potentially fund your businesses wherever you are at. I think what I will not do at this point is go into whether it's equity funding or debt funding, but I think it is important that we need to understand that there's definitely opportunities and avenues for entrepreneurs to speak with us and speak to us in terms of funding. One thing that you guys would have heard about, and if you have not, please go onto your phones, Google it. It's called the Youth Challenge Fund. It is a fund through the Department of Small Business Development, and CIFA is responsible for making sure that that fund gets implemented. It's a fund specifically for young people, and we want to see more young people accessing that fund. But pitching for funding, something that you definitely need to look at because it is where we are at as a nation. I think when you look at Cape Town, we speak of Silicon Cape, where there's quite a lot of venture capitalists going into the Western Cape, and they are able to fund entrepreneurs in the Western Cape. What we need to ask ourselves this morning is, why aren't those venture capitalists and funders also not coming this side of the world? And how do we make sure that the people that we have this side that's got the funding, they become interested in some of the concepts and the ideas that we have as young people of the Northwest? Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Petronella Mututsane, and I am from CIFA, that is the Small Enterprise Finance Agency in Rustenburg. So seated next to me here is my sister company, CETA. So I guess we'll be sharing the discussions. So I am here to introduce to you the funding products and funding opportunities that CIFA has specifically for youth, as my colleague has already alluded to. So we do have a special funding product called the Youth Challenge Fund. That is the fund that was created by the Department of Small Enterprise Development for youth who wish to get into business and for youth who are already in business and wish to expand. But in addition to the Youth Challenge Fund, we have TREP. I'm not sure if you have heard of TREP, but that is the Township and Rural Enterprise Program that is also suitable for youth who are in business, operating in rural villages as well as our local townships. So all these are what CIFA has for you and what I will be talking to you about. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Anza Mafikeng. I am here to represent the Industrial Development Corporation, known as the IDC, specifically based in the Northwest region. I'll be specifically speaking to all the opportunities that are available for youth via preferential rates for funding that we give to our youth across the different sectors. I really would like to get into discussion about how to make sure that you're funding ready, how to put together a business proposal that's compelling and bankable. So those are the kind of discussions that I really hope that we can get into this morning. Thank you.
I love the next. It's Ratanang Sulomani from ABSA, Enterprise Development responsible for the Northwest Province. I guess most of you guys were here yesterday. You heard my colleague Tumelo who talked about the enterprise development, but specifically today, I'm here to talk about the funding readiness for youth in business, what we do, because most of the times we collaborate with corporates, like your government entities, TETA, CIFA, to address the issue of finance within youth companies, youth-owned companies. Thank you.
Dumela bagaetsho le kae rating. My name is Mike Pukela. I'm the regional manager for National Youth Development Agency in the province of Northwest. Like my colleagues have indicated, basically is for also from my side to take you through all the success factors that you look into when you do the pitching, that's one, but also to look into when you access our grant funding from our organization, what is it that you need to look into for you to be successful? I believe that some of the young entrepreneurs that we have funded who bear testimony to the type of funding that we give, and so far, how many have been funded from our program. But over and above that, also to touch base on also the business development support that, you know, form part of the journey that you need to undertake. Not only funding actually can take you to success, but also the number of interventions that are there as well that you need to look into for you to be able then to succeed into your business. So it is going to be a very interesting discussion that we are going to have so that you can be able to benefit to a great extent from the panel so that we can be able to engage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists. We're going to go into our discussion for today. And I think each one of them has made us aware of what are some of, I don't know if you guys heard it properly. I heard Anza Abua about bankability. Just what is it that would make sure that your proposal makes sure that you get the funding, funding, whatever it is that you need for an entrepreneurship venture would need funding. I don't know if you guys want to take this one by one or if we can then just group it. But we're looking at some of the 5 elements. What are some of the 5 most important elements if we're looking at a funding proposal? Ntate Pokela? Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. From our side, we're looking at the business entirely. For example, number 1 to say, is the business idea commercially viable? That's number 1, because we wouldn't actually go into funding to a business that tomorrow it will be closed. We don't encourage that. We would encourage the business that we see, and most of the time we would also advise to say, you know, you can craft your business idea this way so that it can be relevant to the upcoming trends or the upcoming there's a high sector, high sector or high growing sectors that are there in the economy. Can talk of ICT, manufacturing, and also related. Not for us as entrepreneurs to only look into one business idea that is common to all. I mean, for example, you find that all of us want to get into events management, want to get into security, and so on and so on. But now we also need to encourage innovation. That's number 2. To say your business must be innovative enough, to attract the market. I mean, gone are the days where you have to replicate ideas and look into only one idea that, so many people are doing. But an element of innovation also play a key role. That is why you find that we also encourage that within our programs. But thirdly, if you look into the what I can call the market analysis, I mean, when I'm talking about market analysis, I'm referring to where are you going to get customers? I mean, the bigger challenge that you have currently, which is a barrier, is access to market. Which, of course, if you are doing manufacturing or you are into any kind of business, you find that you can do a product, you can do a service, whatsoever, but if there's no access to market, then it becomes a problem. But now, when you start now to analyze the market, you are saying, number 1, you want to create a customer profile to understand exactly in terms of segmentation, what kind of customers are you looking for within age range, within gender, and so on. Now we're addressing the demographics of your space for the people that we're going to serve. But also looking into the industry analysis where, for example, we're looking into the sector in which you are in, so that you understand better, because I believe that maybe some of us who didn't understand the industry and its regulations. But when I start this kind of business, what am I getting myself into? When you are into transportation, for example, do you need to also register with the transportation authorities or institutions that would give you that leverage in terms of your business to to get access to markets, to get access to procurement, because you are now licensed. You now have that certificate that proves that you are part of the industry. But also looking into, for example, when you're talking about now the inner part of the business, which are things that you can control, which are the financials, which is a very difficult thing most of the time that most of the entrepreneurs are struggling with. Now looking at that, how is your cash flow, right? To check whether maybe you've projected right within a certain period of time, either a year or 3 years or so. Normally you'd say 3 years. Whether maybe your financials are making sense. It wouldn't make any business sense when you are trading into business and yet you do not have any cash flow. And for example, eventually it will lead you into a bankruptcy. That is why most of the business has gone down 2 years of operation because of that particular problem. Secondly, it's around the income statement and also the balance sheet, whether maybe you have enough assets, if in case your business goes down, you'll be able to turn it into rather, to pay your liabilities. So those are some of the elements that we are looking into. I think I've covered that extensively. Thank you so much.
Ntate Pogela, I want to find out then, I think we can move to SIFA and SIDA. Would they be, since you guys are sister companies, is it one thing? Is it, because I can imagine if you're looking for funding, you're not just going to go into one of the institutions. But if I do approach you guys, am I looking at similar things that you guys will be looking into?
So not entirely. So what happens is SIDA assists our client with non-financial support. So if you are a client at SIFA and you wish to make an application, but you do not have, say you don't have a business plan, or you need to get accredited by some accreditation body and you need assistance with that, then we would refer you to SIDA to assist you with that. So by the time you come to SIFA, we say that you're already bankable, if I can use the word. So we are not yet the same person, but we are getting there.
And just latch on to what my colleague has said, is that so in a lot of instances, our entrepreneurs think that, you know what, it is only about the financing, and it is not. For an entrepreneur to be finance ready, there's quite a number of things that we need to look at. And I think my brother over there had mentioned it, access to markets, where's access to markets going to come from? That is where a small enterprise development agency comes in to say, you know what, as CEDA, we will then look for opportunities for you in terms of access to markets. We also look at what is it that the financiers is going to look at. A lot of them would ask you, where's your break-even point? If you are in, a manufacturing situation, when are you going to break even? A lot of times our entrepreneurs don't understand that terminology. They don't understand the language. And that is why we need to come in and then assist you so that when you do go out and speak to financiers, you understand exactly what they are looking for. Another one is MVP. What is your most viable product? And that is important that you understand those things so that when you have the opportunity to speak to a financier, that you would be able to speak the language that they speak. It is not always that from the onset, you are going to need financing. That is why we would come in and we would look at what is it that you need at that specific point in your entrepreneurial journey, and we will take it from there. We are working with the commercial banks, we're working with the DFIs, we're working with our sister agency, and I think one thing that she had mentioned, CEDA and CIFA is in the process of merging, meaning that we are becoming one entity because we understand the plight of entrepreneurs saying that, you know what, between the two entities, you just take too long. So we want to make sure that we then work on red tape.
Okay, no, that's completely understandable. Ke tshepe le tlhalogantsa ke re batho ba me. Re setse re tlile go tsena mo go botseng dipotso go tlo le tlhaloganye tse dingwe botoka tse ntse ba bua ka tsona. So we're going to move on to you, Anza. I don't know if they managed to cover the 5 elements, but on your side, when you talk about funding, access to funding, what are those main 5 elements?
Thank you so much. For us, we have narrowed it down to 3 main elements.
Okay.
So the first one and most critical is the market. And the colleagues have alluded to it. I'll just make an example that you may have a brilliant business idea. You may be highly skilled at doing whatever it is that you want to do. But if nobody is going to pay for it, there's no business. So, example, you're great at baking scones. Everyone in your family, your friends loves these scones. They're absolutely life-changing. But then you stand outside a gym and you try to sell those scones. Do you think you'll have customers? No. So it's very important for you to have a critical and granular understanding of the market that you're going into. Who are the people that you are creating this business, this service for? Make sure that your market research is very detailed, not only for now, but also so your business can grow into the future and scale up. So you need to have a thorough and deep understanding of your area. So right now we're in Mafikeng, Mabatu. We need to understand what are the needs here. You can't always import and replicate a business idea for this market, example. So market becomes very, very critical. And I think that's where the companies like CEDA come in, where they then assist you with a detailed market study, understanding, holistically in the area, what are the opportunities, how does it look like, who are the key players, who are the competitors, what can be your competitive edge, what makes you stand out in the certain business that you want to do. So number 1, marketing. No market, no business. Okay? The second one is the technical understanding. So a lot of people will hear the buzzwords, green energy, we have agro-processing, all these buzzwords that sometimes grip us in our bright conversations. But do you have the technical understanding of what it takes to be able to be an entrepreneur in that sector, in that segment? So we always will encourage, if you do have a skill set that's aligned to that, so maybe you studied something in agro-processing or studied something in green energy, more advantageous. But if not, you need to get a detailed technical understanding. Understanding the matrix that make up the costing. How do I cost what I'm giving out? Where is the right place to set the selling price? What is the room that I have to maneuver in terms of increasing my selling price, decreasing my selling price. You know, it was mentioned, where's the break-even point? What are the sensitivities that I'm exposed to in this industry? So that that very technical understanding of your business becomes very, very key. And then lastly is the financial aspect. And I know we're not all financial people, but however, it's not as complex as some of us may think it is. It's as simple as how many items did I sell? How much is each item? Multiply the two, you get a total, that's your revenue. What did it cost me to produce that? If I use the scones example, how much sugar, how much flour, how much butter, how many eggs, how many do I produce, how much are those? Where am I getting them the cheapest? Do I go to this retailer, that retailer? You write that down. How much did I sell it for? Then what's my profit? That's what people like ourselves as financiers want to see. We want to know that you've spent time thinking about the finances of your business. A lot of young people, unfortunately, come looking for funding. They say they have a business, but there's absolutely no financial record. Your financial record is the story of your business. As a financier, outside of taking your word for it, I need to be able to see the story, and that's the financial records. So in a nutshell, those three.
Just those three. And then I guess we can move on to you, Rasulumani, on your side as you're coming from ABSA. What are the elements are there? She simplified it with the three, and I think the one that a lot of people, they become very confused is the financial part of it. So could you please go in for us?
All right, thanks. Obviously, you will hear the similarities in terms of the requirements because, I mean, we're dealing with funding and financing. So if you can allow just to start by saying or explaining how we fit into the bank, my department, enterprise development, because as maybe most of you might know, when you go to the bank, account, but there's more to that. My department fits in supporting the business unit, the bank. So what we do your non-traditional finance, which is your contract financing, purchase order financing, and also financing for those who are startups, but obviously with secured market, as my colleagues have said. And also we do your SME exposure, which is market access to markets. Monday and Tuesday, we took some of our SMEs within the Northwest to the Proudly SA event. We paid their accommodation, we paid their transportation, and the exhibition cost. So that's also what we do. So in terms of financing, what we look at is the market. Yes, my colleagues has said more on it, but you need to understand your size of the market. I agree. Obviously, within the Northwest, there are different kinds of services that you can offer, but then you need to determine your market share. For us as the bank, unfortunately, we're in the business of making money, and obviously legally so. So we need to ascertain that also you're going to be able to repay the money, pay back the money. So we need to ascertain that to say there is affordability. So for us to see that there is affordability, there need to be a market that you guys are servicing to secure financing. And also, we also need to look at the management structure of your business to say, do you have expertise in executing whatever service that you're doing? I get a little that they normally me when he says, I'm accredited, I've got this background here for me. So he doesn't have a background here in engineering and going to farming because only my So for us to avoid that, we need to have a background of what you guys are doing and understand really where you're going as a business. So that's what we're looking for from the financing opportunities and the requirements. But lastly, we need to ascertain in terms of your financials to say, Do you have like I said, the repayment ability? What are your needs? The other thing that we look at is the needs analysis. You need to draw down your needs analysis that says, these are my needs, these are the costs, because the cost will lead you to your financials to say, I need X amount of money, and this is what I'm going to pay the suppliers, this is what I'm selling the service at. From there, we see the repayment ability. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. Isiam, Lina Lidi Poto. How many questions do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I think what we should do, take 3 questions. We're going to take 3. I get a nali ura. Because nali zodi fa ukanzi so nse refeta ka tsone. Make batla hore le sa lebala se ba buileng ka sone hore le bone ba kgona go laraba. So we're just going to take 5 minutes, take 3 questions. Re leke ka bojotlhe go dipotso tsa rona, o sa botse se o mong a se boditseng akere. O mo reetse go boditseng o utlwele karabo e filweng gore le wena gongwe ka ne go araba akere. All right. So the first hand over there. O bue leina la gago. If you've got your business, whatever it is that you're doing, o tla re itsisi ha ile gore go na le motho e leng gore specifically o batla go mmotsa potso o dire jalo.
Good day. My name is Uche. I am half Nigerian, half South African, but that's not necessary. I own Scoops and Spoons Creamery, based in Mafikeng, and I had driven it so far to a point whereby I did not need to approach any company for funding, but instead I was spotted go Star Shop by some older guys who sell ice cream in these red containers. And he was like, do you sell these? Because he saw me delivering. That time I had a car to deliver. So he said I should give him my address and then he'll come through to my place, not for assessing or anything, not for requirements of books and whatnot, but all he said was, we are going to start funding you, give you refrigerators and whatnot. But the only mishap I had was the inability of drafting a proposal. I did not know that. I tried looking for platforms in which I can be assisted. I used YouTube channels, but I did not have any background. Now, the second thing is most people here know how to drive businesses, but they fail to know the fundamentals and how to implement those certain fundamentals they get into their businesses. So I feel like as, can I call you entrepreneurs because you represent different entities, that you should provide a platform for youth to understand and know how to draw proposals, to understand and know how to make financial books, to understand how to draft a proposal in need for funding.
Thank you. Would you like to answer or take all of the 3 questions? Okay, we'll take all of the 3 questions. Second question. Because we took someone from there. Only fair.
Also up there.
Also at the top. Okay. So I'm going to do this, this, and this, unfortunately. Kodim. Anyone at the top?
So my question is
Your
concerning...
name.
My name is Kagiso Mahape. So my question is concerning the things that you are saying to us, but they do not apply to us. For example, you're saying they're concerning of funding, but do you actually fund ideas where we people are unemployed that you know for sure, but you aren't, you're stating actually that you need someone with a business idea that is operating and that has funds. And secondly, the government part, I have an issue with the government. First of all, I come from NYDA. After that, after completing the course of NYDA, they state that I still have to wait 3 months for funding. Okay, there's a platform for me to actually access. After accessing the platform on the website, they state that my logins are, for example, what did I say? Invalid token. Next thing I'm calling the lines, they're telling me something else. I'm looking online, then I found that the people, us, the same youth here, all of us here, which we don't have businesses, number one. We don't have work to actually fund our business. But you want us to have a business that has a background with money. Which money are we getting? Eh? Where is
Thank you,
the money?
Kagiso.
Give us the money first. Look at our ideas. See at our ideas. Give us mentor. Give us the foundation so that we can build. You cannot build a house with no tools.